I have found in life that things come full circle. As I look back and reflect on how I ended up where I am, I have realized that the farther away I tried to get, the closer to my beginnings I ended up. I married right out of high school, just like my mother had done. I had 3 little boys before I was 25. It was then that I decided to pursue a degree in Family and Consumer Sciences with teacher certification. I graduated 4 years later and began teaching at my alma mater. My husband and I separated during my first year of teaching and divorced the following summer. I maintained my job and was raising 3 boys with a little help from my now widowed mother for the next year. After the second year, I took a teaching position nearly 100 miles away from home. A little over 4 months later, during the Thanksgiving break, the boys and I were in a terrible car wreck that claimed the life of my oldest son, Wesley, who was 12 at the time. I cannot say that I was ever really the same after that. The death of my dad, the divorce, and the death of my son, all within 3 years, had left me emotionally drained and not able to focus on what I needed to be focused on. I continued to teach and try to care for my remaining 2 sons, who were struggling with the changes in our family. I moved back to my childhood home, and the boys went to live with their dad, and I finished teaching my 3rd year at Devine High School. During the next 2 years, I had another teaching job in a nearby town and commuted daily. The following year, I had resigned without having another teaching position. By this time, it had been 5 years since my son's death and his senior year. I was not sure if I was going to be teaching again. I worked 4 part-time jobs to make my truck payment. The year was 2004, and I decided that I would give teaching another try. But this time, I would have to move. I found a job 120 miles from home and boys. This was the first time I would actually ever live alone. Well, that lasted about 4 months. On the 6th anniversary of my son Wesley's death, my son Dakota came to live with me. We stayed in Salado for 2 years. In 2006, I moved home again. There were many reasons to come back, but the biggest one was I missed home. I was not sure what we were going to do or if I would be teaching again. But 2 weeks after moving back, a small district near my home had an opening. I'm currently in my 6th year at Nixon Smiley High School, the longest I've ever spent at any school. I had taught in 4 schools in 10 years. My resume looked like a coach's resume. What did I learn? The farther away from home you try to take yourself, the closer to home you come. If you would have asked me 27 years ago what I'd be doing today, my answer would certainly not have been this: living in the home I grew up in with my mother, youngest son, and his fiancée, and my grandson Wesley, and teaching a subject that I nearly failed in high school.
Every blink, faster than a flower blooms, they grow up all too soon. So let them be little, 'cause they're all